All of Bitcoin's capitulation events had something to do with the weekly 10, which is red, and the weekly 89, which is purple, and the cross below it. Back in 2014, cross below it marked the second stronger half of its bear market. In 2018, after 2017's 20K top, price got perfectly squeezed below here and capitulated almost exactly as these cross, as I've covered multiple times on my channel. We'll really quickly zoom in on here. And Bitcoin price formed a very tight range as this got ever and ever closer. And what did price do? It peeked its head above the red line a few times and then got trapped and capitulated down, which looks like what current price is doing. In the coronavirus dump, the capitulation event had to do with the red getting very close to the purple, and it essentially squeezed price down. Not quite a perfect squeeze play, but it's the capitulation event still had something to do. Now what we can see here is the same exact two EMAs. I'll go to the 4-hour chart, and you can very clearly see that just like in 2018, you have the same type of thing going on. Bitcoin price peaks its head just above the weekly 10 EMA, which is red, but in general is staying between here, and the volatility of each move as it's ranging is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Therefore, the big question here is Bitcoin going to avoid this fate, or is it going to follow suit? And this will be the fourth time, essentially making the same exact play as last time. Is it going to happen? I'm going to show you a few different ways to be looking at this so you can be on your toes to figure out which event's going to happen. But before we do that, just know that on a statistical probability basis in 2022, if not, within the next month and a half, the probabilities are signaling that it's a little bit more probable that it will play out the same type of move, and we're going to have some type of spill downward. However, it's not guaranteed. So let me show you how I'm viewing price move between these two and what tools you can use on top of these to layer in your analysis. Let's get it.
Hit the like button
and subscribe,
or else let's go. The first way I'm layering things on here is using, again, my origin line range, and I'm going to take off the EMAs to make this less busy here. Bitcoin in general, every single time Bitcoin price gets close to this master origin line over 10 years of price history, it bounces between and among these blue lines. One way to kind of figure out, okay, on top of these EMAs getting ready to squeeze, how is price moving between here, and how can I play this range? Because that's really the only thing to be doing right now. I mean, there's nothing else to do besides playing this range. And the bummer about that is the range is getting less and less volatile. Therefore, there's less and less to do. Are we seeing what I'm saying here? Volatility is decreasing, and there's going to be a big move one way or another, and it's likely going to happen. I mean, it could happen in the next few days, but there is a little bit more space for this to move sideways. And let me throw on the weekly candle so you can see this a little bit better. The weekly candles here, the weekly candles they have a little bit more space. I mean, this could take another 1 week, maybe have a green week here, something to this effect, and a red week. It could take another month, something as the red gets ever and ever closer, something to that effect, and the purple goes like this. Therefore, it could last another month of decreasing volatility. It's possible. At the same rate, though, you also have, and this is another way to look at things, you also have this danger zone here of, I'm going to go down to the 4-hour chart, but keeping on the weekly 10, you have the weekly 10 crossing this master origin line, which was associated with the capitulation event of the coronavirus. So we'll go ahead and go back there, all the way back to 2019, using the 4-hour chart, and you can see here, I'll throw price back on. The origin line crossing happened right around the capitulation event, and right now it's already happening. Back in 2017, that cross didn't happen because price in its capitulation event fell down to the master origin line. Therefore, that is a warning sign. And this channel, though, as Bitcoin is traversing this range, if you go down to something like the 15-minute time frames, you can see how well these lines parallel to the origin line and the origin line itself is getting price movement within this range fairly accurately. All right, and something that I was saying to my altiers, actually, in each of the live chats that I had yesterday in the early afternoon is when Bitcoin fell down to here, even though I did not anticipate this move happening by any means, but after this move happened, I said, this is not a bounce point. And when we saw it coming up, I said, man, it looks like it wants to come up here. However, it doesn't have a trampoline. Price needs to come closer to this line in order to get a bounce. Therefore, I just didn't see the possibility of this bounce happening. And the point of me saying this is, in order to play this range within the red and purple lines, these lines parallel to the master origin line would help you significantly in those endeavors. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. I did that one on purpose. They're going to help you significantly in those endeavors. And a lot of people jump on these live calls to say, hey, did I set these up right? And we kind of compare, share screens and all that stuff. And if something like that's interesting, then you can go ahead and check out the links to the Discord community within the description section of any of my videos. Also, you need to make sure you're following me on Twitter at cosasverdes with the number 2. And if online communities are not your thing, but you want exclusive content above and beyond what I offer on YouTube, go ahead and click the join button that's right below this video, and another video will pop up describing your options to you. Therefore, these lines would help you to a very significant degree get price right, or understand where price will, stop go as it is going between these two very large and powerful EMAs. That's one. And because they'll help you understand how price is moving between these, it will also inevitably help you understand, is price going to break up and out of here and avoid its fate, or is it going to break down and out of here? It would help you get a judge of character on price as it's getting closer and closer to having to make a decision point. That's one way to layer things on. And if you like shapes and drawing triangles, this the origin line channel, the master origin line alongside the lines parallel to it, they tend to agree more with the idea that what price is forming right now is an ascending triangle. And if you're not a fan of, using origin lines, or you don't want to, set those up, something similar to that, which would help you without those lines, would be doing something to this effect. And I'm going to have to change time frame, so let's go to the hour time frame so I can get this a little bit better. You have an ascending triangle, essentially. There we go. Have an ascending triangle. And the interesting thing about this is two things. It gives Bitcoin more time to stay boring, but also the way it would avoid its fate if this ascending triangle plays to the upside is it would go up to the weekly 10 EMA and keep volatility very low and potentially start closing candles on top of it in a slow fashion before a violent move to the upside, which is how Bitcoin recovered from its lows in early 2019 after the capitulation of 2018. Let's go view that. That's one interesting thing that this essentially is not insinuating, but that's what this is. That's what this is implying. If this can break up, focus on the red line here. If price were to play this out and not break out until roughly, the triangle's almost full, that would mean this weekly 10 would go like this, and price would slowly start respecting it, get on top of it, and then blast out after several weeks of candle closures just below it and just on top of it before a big move out. It could be a rounded type of shape up and out of here, in addition to writing the origin line. So in this ascending higher low, but higher low but equal high type of ascending triangle, if Bitcoin were to avoid its fate, that means that the low is already in. And if we go back to 2018, I will go to the weekly scale. Maybe went back too far, sorry. It would mean that Bitcoin is going to do something to this effect. Where's a good zoom? You see how price kept volatility very low and used the origin line and the red line at the same time? Here, take a look. Let me take off price. See how the red is coming to the origin line and it started getting a rounded shape, and Bitcoin price didn't really take off until it kept respecting this red line from the bottom and then from the top. And after 4 closures above the red line, which is a whole month, after it gets above the weekly 10, which Bitcoin is not above it right now, and then it spiked off. If Bitcoin is going to avoid its fate under the, I guess, the diagnosis of the problem being this is an ascending triangle, that's what you would be looking for. And the boringness of this market is going, in that case, if that were to happen, the boringness is going to be maintained for quite a while. And layering on these lines parallel to the master origin line, it's going to help you keep playing ranges between here. Do you see what I'm saying? Even though technically the range would be resolved because Bitcoin would get above this red line, which is the top of the range. However, the range could then convert into just playing around the lines parallel to this, and therefore you could use these lines in that case if the ascending triangle is how this is going to play out, under the notion that Bitcoin will avoid its fate of capitulating just like it has every single time that this red line has gone below. That is how I would use these 2 EMAs in addition to the ascending channel here. Another way to take a look at Bitcoin is take off these origin lines and simply put on a macro tilted range. And again, I've helped during live chats, if you were interested in doing this, you can go ahead and on Discord say, hey, I think I've set mine up. Let's compare screens and we can do that. But take off these and let's go to something like the 4-hour chart. This chart also is helping one understand how price is bumping its head in specific places within the greater context of these 2 lines here, within this squeeze play. That's another way to look at it. Personally, I kind of like how the origin line channel is getting things right, but if you take these off, you can see that these lines relatively are being pretty respected. Specific resistance here, another resistance point at the point of control, exact wick down to the bottom here, support at and resistance within the 1/4 line or the orange. That's another way to understand how price is moving within the context of this, or of these 2 EMAs. And it will help you understand and be on your toes. How will this resolve itself? How will this resolve itself? But in the event that Bitcoin slowly gets above its weekly 10 EMA, let's draw this out like this. If it slowly gets above with very small volatility, very low volatility, I'm not sure how much these the macro tilted range is going to help out. And I think in that case that what is forming right now is an ascending triangle, and it's going to slowly grind its way out. And again, at the beginning of the video, I let you know that I think it's more probable this is going to break down, right? I'm showing you the more improbable case here, right? Okay. In this case, if something like this were to happen, I believe the origin line channel would be more helpful for you to continue playing the ranges, small and decreasing volatility ranges, if something like this were to happen. Now, it's not guaranteed that Bitcoin is going to slowly work its way out of this if, in my opinion, the improbable case, the fate is avoided. It's possible that there is an explosive move up and out of here before that weekly 10 is respected for week after week. It's very possible as well. And if that were to happen, then the macro tilted range in that case, if it's an explosive move to resolve this range of the red and the purple, okay, the weekly 10 and weekly 89, in an explosive case, I think this macro tilted range will be what you want to look for and use in Bitcoin's journey and price action up and out of here. Therefore, I'm providing you with a few different tools to engage with price and figure out how it's moving within there, and depending on, in the event that Bitcoin avoids its fate, 2 different tools depending on the path with which Bitcoin works its way up and out of here. You would pick a tool associated with how Bitcoin's moving. If this seemed pretty helpful for you, then go ahead and click this video right here if you want to learn how to set up a chart just like mine. It's a 28-minute trading view tutorial. And if you missed my last Bitcoin analysis from yesterday, go ahead and click this video right here. Click the circle in the middle if you're new to my channel, and you just got Timified Worldwide. Peace.